Hey friends, and welcome back to 155 Books. My name is Shannon, and today I'm going to be sharing my autumn TBR. It may be slightly early for this, however, it is raining outside and I'm over summer already and I just want it to be autumn. So I'm going to talk about the books I plan to read in my favourite season of the year, which always gets me super excited, especially when I'm planning what I want to read, and I feel like this year I've picked some really good books. So the first book I want to talk about is the book that I plan to listen to on audiobook. It's one I've actually already started and I'm really enjoying so far, to the point where I'm questioning why people don't talk about this book more. It is a classic, but I'm still surprised that people aren't talking about this book more because it's fantastic from what I've read so far. But that is East of Eden by John Steinbeck. So I'm listening to this on Audible, which is the perfect audiobook to have, I think, in the kind of autumnal winter months. Is a good long audiobook, because this is a humongous family sort of like generational saga following two separate families who I do believe kind of grew up in the same area in America, dating back to the 1700s. And it goes on from there. What is even better about listening to this on audiobook is the narration style, because it's narrated by the son of one of the lineages, basically, and you don't find that out until kind of 50 pages in, and obviously you're still not at that point yet, it's just mentioned lightly, so you kind of know that you're going to end up with his story possibly right at the end, and obviously you can kind of tell that these two stories are at some point going to interweave, but I don't know when that's going to happen yet. I'm on page 89 so far, and like I say, a lot has happened in those 89 pages, so I'm very excited to carry on listening to this and following these stories through the ages. The next book on this list is the next Shakespeare play I will be reading, because I'm still trying to get through the entire works of Shakespeare in chronological order. And the next one is The Comedy of Errors. Obviously a comedy. Not one that I'm familiar with, but one I'm very happy is short, because my last read was Richard III, which was 150 pages long. And as much as I love Shakespeare, that is a lot of pages of Shakespeare. So yes, I'm hoping I can speed through this one. I think it's maybe his shortest, or one of his shortest plays. Out of curiosity, I did read the blurb, and I'm going to read it to you because it does actually sound really interesting. Two sets of identical twins separated at sea at birth find themselves in the same city for the first time as adults. Soon their friends mistake the twins for one another, and bewilderment abounds. Joyful, mystical, and brilliantly farcical, Shakespeare's shortest play is an early romantic comedy of confusion and ultimate reunion. That sounds super interesting. I wonder if it's going to have Blood Brother vibes, because when I read that, it sounds like the comedic version of Blood Brothers, a little bit. And there's a really lovely quote on the back of this that says, "After God, Shakespeare has created most," which I agree with. It's very true. The next book I would really love to read this autumn is one that's been on my shelf for ages, and one that I think I'm going to really love, and that's why I want to read it this autumn, in my favourite month. And also, autumn was the month that I read my favourite book of all time, If We Were Villains, that has Shakespeare connotations. So this autumn, rather than rereading If We Were Villains, because I'm going to be putting that off for the rest of my life, I want to read Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. I know, I still can't believe I haven't read this yet, but I feel like since this summer going to see a Shakespeare play and just being in sort of the world of Shakespeare again, because I went to go and see As You Like It in Stratford-upon-Avon with my mum kind of recently, it's just giving me all of the Shakespeare vibes, and I just want as much Shakespeare in my life as possible. So I feel like, yes, this is the perfect book to add to my autumn want to read list. All I really know about this, and I kind of don't want to know much more going into it, is that I do believe it is post-apocalyptic, possibly, and it just follows a troupe who are going around performing Shakespeare in a post-apocalyptic world, which to me is a bit odd. So I'm kind of intrigued to find out what all of that is going to be about. The next book on my list is one I actually bought with the intent of reading it in autumn, and that is Listen to the Land Speak by Magan. I definitely need to check the pronunciation of that because it's an Irish name and a lot of the time it doesn't sound like what it looks like. But this is a non-fiction book set in and around, I do believe, the sort of like natural world in Ireland. And it says on the cover, a journey into the wisdom of what lies beneath us. And like I say, I don't know much else about it other than it sounds sort of like mythical, and it's sort of like mythology and legends and Ireland and the natural world and the historical world all woven into different chapters. For example, to read some of the chapters to you, they are Rivers as Goddesses, the Shannon, which is the River Shannon, which I was named after. Yay. Routeways, myths, stone circles, so there's archaeology in here too, scars on the landscape, anything landscape related, I absolutely love. So I'm very much looking forward to this one. Unlike most of my other non-fiction books, I obviously won't be listening to this on audiobook, and I think I'm really excited about finally picking up a non-fiction book and reading it physically, especially one I'm super excited about reading anyway. And the last book I really want to get to in autumn is obviously a very chunky fantasy book, because what is autumn and winter without chunky fantasy books? And this one I'm even more excited about reading because it's Cassandra Clare, and it is obviously Queen of Air and Darkness by Cassandra Clare, which is the third book in the Dark Artifices, which I have been reading this year and really enjoying and loving the characters and everything that is happening. So I can't wait to get cozy and warm on the dark autumn nights and just sit down and devour this, because I just know that that's what I'm going to do, and that's probably why I haven't picked this up or carried on reading this like I planned to, because I'm saving her for the favourite season, which is autumn. Those are all the books that I plan to read this autumn. Please let me know in the comments down below what book you're really excited about getting to in the autumn months. Are you excited about autumn? What is your favourite season? Are you an autumn person like me? Please let me know, and I will see you soon in my next video. Doodles!